Well, I was searching on this channel for something or other the other day, and I was searching back through my past videos, and I got to 3 years ago, and I came across part one of this little build diary. All right, um, that I'd completely forgotten that I'd done. I'd marked it part one with a view to coming back, and then promptly forgot it. And I guess new projects came along, and I forgot to update. So 3 years later, this is part two, but it's not really a part two because 3 years ago, if you did watch it 3 years ago, I doubt very much you'll remember what I said. And anybody who's come along in those 3 years, well, hello. And this is part two of a very, very long gestating project. So rather than refer you back to part one of 3 years ago, let's start all over again. So what we've got here is quite a chunky, quite a mammoth size spaceship. Let me put my hand in to give you scale. All right. Right. So start all over again. Origins, rewind, go back to the late 70s. My brother-in-law, for some reason, brought me carrier bags full of clear plastic boxes. All right. This sort of size, about yay big. Open boxes, so one side was open. I don't know where he got them from. I can't remember where he got them from, or why on earth he would have them, or what they were for. They were clear plastic boxes, and I had hundreds of them. And he thought, because he knew I made things from junk and scratch, that I might be able to make something out of it. And this is what I decided to do. As I say, very angular, very chunky, because it is made up of these individual blocks that I can remember to this day sticking together with Yoo-hoo glue. All right. And the reason I came up with this blocky design was at the time I was deeply into 2000 AD and deeply into Dan Dare, as drawn by Dave Gibbons, the Lost World saga. And he had his space fortress, which was this big chunky design of a star cruiser. Basically, it was his own star cruiser. So I decided to make a spaceship out of those blocks. I then clad it in plasticard. I don't know where I was getting the plasticard from. I think my local town had a model shop, I guess. But in other places where I didn't have the right thickness plasticard, I was using cereal boxes. And what I was doing was, and of course, I don't need to apologise. We all start somewhere, and we all learn from experience. And back then, I was pretty young. What I was doing was, as I finished a section, I would paint it in Humbrol grey. And this thing you might recognise is the passenger pod from the Eagle Transporter kit. Yes, it certainly is. There it is, painted in a mid-grey and a dark grey, hand painted. All right. That's what I was doing. I was bunging bits on. And again, early days scratch building, I was bunging things on with absolutely no regard for whether anything works in scale to anything else, right? So that's what I did. And it was consigned into our attic, and there it stayed for literally decades until, when was the first time I attempted to resurrect this and restore this and carry on with it? Because it wasn't finished. It was nowhere near finished. Must be more than 10 years ago. I took it out the attic. I brought it over to here, where I now live, and decided to strip all the paint off and start again, or continue with it. All right. And that's what I did. And as I say, that must be 10, 12 years ago. Then I'm trying to think of the stages. Then I got bored with it, put it to one side. New projects come along to tempt you. And I left it for 3 or 4 years ago. And then I think my third attempt at doing it was 3 years ago, where I did a bit more. All right. So, and then got tempted by something else and forgot about it. And so it's been, just in storage for the last 3 years. But I thought, all right, let's crack on, especially now, if you follow my channel for any length of time, you know that recently I've been doing studio scale recreations of craft from Doctor Who and Blake Seven. And what that has resulted in me amassing quite a number of classic kits from back then, the late 70s, early 80s. And of course, that is totally in keeping with what I was doing back then. So I think I will continue and try and finish it. But before I start on it, let's go through it. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a wince at what I was up to. In the last 2 attempts at renovating it, I know initially when I first brought it back from the old attic, I used paint stripper to strip an awful lot of the paint off of the areas. And in some cases it dissolved the plastic and damaged it, all right? So number one, that needed covering up. Number two, some of the ways I was going about cutting out panels was pretty winceable. So you can see here, this area here, that's the original 70s plasticard just there. These lighter whites is me later on adding stuff. So let's start at the front and go through it. So, as I say, it's going to be winceable for the kits that I cut up and butchered. So this is the front of the ship. I think down in there, is a load of tubes. I don't know why I stuck them in there, but you've got a load of tubes. What you've got here and here, that's the rear half of that, the Airfix Lunar Module kit. So it's the rear half of that. There's the front half, and there's the other one. When I first started on this, one of them had gone. This one had gone, so I had to rebuy the Airfix Lunar Module, and that's still quite cheap now. So we got a new one there. We got a new one there. There's the other one. You can see the remains of the Humbrol paint on it, and especially on that one. All right. On the front here, you might recognise it. That's one of the halves of the Eagle Transporter's leg pods. That's half of one there. Got half of one there, and of course, that's the foot of an Eagle. Put on the other way round. This one is damaged, so that needs replacing. Here, this is later renovation work. These panels, this ribbed panel, same as here. The pink part from the Pink Panther kit, that's all new. This is all new. Sticky gems are new. Look at this for a winceable moment. Do you recognise this? This dark grey. The paint stripper worked terrifically on this. This is the top half of the rear half of the old Battlestar Galactica kit. All right, that's one half of it, and there's the other half, and I've put them back to back. And what I've done since then, in the last 2 renovations, I've just realised I've put that I-beam across. I filled in the hole with a Tamiya part there. That's one of the Airfix kits. Can't remember which one, the refueling set, I think. That's the old 88mm Tamiya kit. This is new. This is new. Eagle Transporter passenger pod. That's a new bit that I've put on there. New bit. I think that's the refueling set, the Airfix refueling set. And again, there's that. This is new. This is new. This is new. These are new. This thing at the side, that was cereal box. So I put plasticard, and you can see that I had started putting kit parts on it. This obviously is the whole of a tank, but I don't think it's a model tank. I think it's a toy tank. It's that really waxy plastic. I think that's a toy tank. I'm going to have to try and disguise that big time. I mean, look, you've still got the shovels sculpted onto it. All right. This, by the way, weighs a ton. I'll move him around. I've forgotten about this. This, can you see? These are the boxes. This is the open end of the box. Obviously, I haven't put the paint stripper in there. And I vaguely remember what these are. These are caps off of my Yoo-hoo glue. Bottle caps. There's one missing, all right? So we've got some damage since I last put it in storage. I've got things to repair just from the last couple of renovations, and in places, look, plastic cards peeling and damaged. So got a bit of work. Yeah, anywhere where it's whiter, that's new. All right, again, blocking, covering things up. Oh yeah, this is a good example. That's what my original paneling from the 70s looked like. Again, this is all new. These are dominoes from a domino game, injection plastic, so they stick very, very well. So that's the top half. All right. This is the bottom half, and the bottom half actually shows an awful lot of my original paneling that I put on. Anything that's yellow or yellowing is original from the 70s. All right. And all these greeblies are original from the 70s, mainly tank parts. It's all military, especially that one there. Actually, I'm quite chuffed with myself. Look how intricate that panel is that I cut out. Quite pleased with myself for going to all that trouble. This is horrible though. Look at this gritty pattern. Don't know about that. I don't know what I was thinking about there. Mercifully, it's vanished from that side. More kit pieces all along there. All right. I don't know what that orange piece is. But this is the underside then. And yeah, this was very badly damaged. As you can see, look. And I've barely done anything other than cover up, you know, the original paneling with new paneling, which I guess I've got to continue doing. Oh yeah, and of course, that's the middle of the Galactica. Don't know what happened to the head of the Galactica. So, and that's where we are at the moment. Something I don't think that occurred to me back when I started it is, what do you do for landing gear? Because at the moment, when I sit it down, it's all resting on that bit. And I'm thinking I wasn't going to bother because that Space Fortress from Dan Dare just had a flat bottom and it just plopped itself down onto a planet. But I think I've got to put some legs on, and they've got to be higher than that. Otherwise, that's going to take all the weight. I don't know what. I'll have to have a think about that, or where they go. I've got to find 4 places, I guess, for them. So that's where we are. This is part 2, 3 years late. And if you do go back and watch the part 1, I've just basically just repeated what I said in that one. But let's have a think, let's have a look, and let's decide where I'm going to go first.